So in the previous video, we saw how we can fade images in and out. In this video, we're going to just whip through a number of other animations that we can do, most of which you caught a glimpse of in the previous video. So I'm just going to get rid of the Bart is showing part because we're going to do all our animations with Bart. And let's start then by taking our Bart image view and animate. And we'll look at first the translation animations. So we've got translations with X, Y, and Z there. And you'll notice that we've got either translation X, which translates to a particular value. Translate, by the way, in this case just means move. It's a mathematical term. Or we can use translation X by. So this would move it in the X direction by a certain number of dPs. So let's try translation Y by. Let's say we want to move it 1,000 dPs. This will move it 1,000 dPs down. And again, we'll have a duration of 2,000. Okay, let's have a look. So this will move it probably off the screen in a downward direction, which is something you might want to do if you want to get rid of an element from the screen. Here we go. Tap Bart. And off he goes. Oh, not quite off the screen. So you'd want to go further, maybe 2,000 pixels, or maybe more if you want to make sure he's off the screen, regardless of the pixel size. So here's a quick challenge for you then. Can you change this so that instead of disappearing down, he disappears to the left and he goes completely off the screen? Give it a go. All right, hopefully you managed that. It's pretty simple. We use a translation X by, and we want to move him to the left, so that's minus 1,000. The plus direction is to the right. And I think 1,000 will be enough. You might want to put more there just to be sure. Here we go. And off he goes. Fantastic. So that's translations or movements. Let's try a rotation. So again, we've got rotation and rotation by, and rotation in the X and Y directions as well. So let's start off with just a simple rotation, and then we give the number of degrees that we want to rotate Bart. So let's turn him upside down. 360 degrees is a full circle, so 180 is a half circle. And again, we'll set the duration. We'll do it a bit quicker this time, so we'll do it in 1 second. Use the lightning button to load that up. Super quick. Tap him, and there we go. If you wanted him to spin around many times, you could put a 0 on the end of that, and he'll now rotate 5 times in the same 1 second. So that'll get him spinning. Very nice. You could even combine the animations in any way you like. So notice if after rotation we put, say, an alpha to 0, we could fade him out and spin him at the same time. Let's see that in action. There we go. And the final type I want to show you is a scale. And again, we can scale to a specific value or by a specific value. And we can do it in the X and Y directions as well. So let's say we want to make him half size. We scale X to 0.5. We'll scale Y to 0.5 as well. And then, as usual, set the duration to 1 second. Now, notice we've got a red squiggly line here. That's because the scale X function, just with all the animation functions that we've used, expects a float. And by default, if you use a decimal value, it's a double. And even though they're just different types of numbers, we do need to convert from one to the other so that the scale X value accepts the correct type. But there's a very easy way to do that. If you want to convert a number to a float, you just put an F after it. So that wasn't necessary before because we had integer values, whole numbers, which didn't require the f. But when you've got decimals, then you do need the f to convert it to a float. All right, let's take a look. So that should shrink Bart down to half size. There we go. So here's a quick challenge for you then. What I'd like you to do is animate Bart into existence. So we're going to start the app with a blank screen. I want Bart to spin into action from the left. So after the animation, he should be full screen, just like he was at the beginning of this app, but I want him to come in from the left and spinning as soon as the app is opened. All right, little challenge for you there. Best of luck. Go for it. Okay, hope you managed it. So the first thing that we'll need to change is the initial position of Bart. So at the moment, he's of course positioned on the screen, but we want him to be positioned to the left of the screen initially. So let's change our constraint from 0 to minus 1000. All right, hope you managed that. As always, lots of different ways to do it, but you almost certainly had to write some code in the onCreate method because we wanted this animation to happen on the opening of the app. So first off, we want to move Bart off of the main screen. So we're going to use our Bart image view. So I'll just copy this down rather than type it again. And then we'll animate him off the screen. So we want to use a translation x by, and I'll use the same minus 1000 as before. If we wanted this to work on every device, we might make that 2000, but 1000 will be fine for our emulator. And let's just have a quick check and make sure that that makes Bart initially disappear. And there we go. So you can see no Bart there. Just a quick note, if you're a little uneasy about using animations here, we're doing effectively an instant animation because we're not setting a duration. There is another way to do that, which is perhaps more self-explanatory. So we could just set the x coordinate, for example, to minus 1000. And that would do effectively the same thing, but without an animation. So I'm going to use set x, but you can use the animate if you prefer that. All right. Now it's just a matter of bringing him in. So let's use Bart image view dot animate, and then we want to translate x by, and we want 1000 pixels to the right this time to bring him back in, and we also want the rotation. I'll rotate him 10 times, so that's 3600 degrees. In the space of 2 seconds. All right. So let's have a look. We should now find that Bart spins in from the left. There we go. Excellent. So you can use these animations either to make your apps more exciting or to add actual fluidity and functionality to games in particular. And that's what we're going to be doing in the next video, where we'll be making our own version of Connect 3.